So, chapter 27, sub horreo. In this chapter, we saw a couple other uses of the subjunctive, indirect commands, and also resolve clauses. We saw before a few examples of resolve clauses. Um, so, as usual, I've underlined the verbs in red, and the subjunctives I've highlighted in green. I also highlighted a couple things in yellow that I want to look at when we get to them. All right, let's go right to that first paragraph here. Work our way through this. Modestus est strutio et carcere agressi ad horreum fugerent, per aditum angustum repserent et sub horreo calati manebant. Quinterio Valerius cum portas calarum apertas carceremque desertum vidicet erratissimus erat, militibus imperavit obedestum ebitstrationem caperant, militis tamen quamquam per tota castra correvant, eos invenire non poderant. Ille duos dies manebant calati, tertio die, modestus tam miser erat, but remediutius fere non posset. Okay. So, first verb, fugerent, fled. Okay, who did? The nominative, Modestus and Struthio. Right, that's my plural. Modestus and Struthio fled. Okay, Modestus and Struthio aggressi. Right, the perfect active participle. You should recognize aggressi here, coming from gradior, a perfect active, common perfect active with different prefixes. So Modestus and Struthio, having left or having escaped from the prison, right, the prefix and the preposition, one idea though, right? Fled to the horreum, to the granary, the barn. Okay, so the next verb, repserent, they crawled, what reptiles do. They crawled, looking to the left, prepositional phrase, through a narrow opening. Okay, and they, next verb, manebant, they were remaining, prepositional phrase, sub horreo, under the granary, calati. It's nominative plural, right? Another, or not another, this is the perfect passive participle from calo, right? So hidden or having been hidden. So beneath the barn, having been hidden, they were remaining. Okay. The centurion Valerius, okay, so then we have a long cum clause. What's the verb with Valerius? Erat, right? Eratissimus erat. So the centurion Valerius was very angry, right? Superlative, issimus. And then the subordinate subjunctive clause here, it's a cum clause. So for you, it must be a cum circumstantial clause. So forte cum is when. When, okay, when what? We desets. Pluperfect, right? When he had seen the portas calarum apertas, right? Apertas and portas clearly go together, right? The doors open. What doors? The doors of the cells open, or having been opened. Right? Calarum, a genitive plural. Arum, first declension, genitive plural. Okay, que, puts and in front of carcerum. So, and the prison desertum, the prison deserted. So when he had seen those things, he was very angry. Impera, what he ordered, right, and the people being ordered go in the dative. So he impera with the militibus, he ordered the soldiers, that's the dative here, to do, no doubt, an indirect command, right? One of those new uses of the subjunctive we saw. So order them to do what? To capture, to catch Podestus and Strithio, right? Imperfect subjunctive. As I've mentioned, sometimes there's a gray area between purpose and indirect command. So I've seen some textbooks, pairs of textbooks. One will call something a purpose clause, one indirect command. There is a gray area. One idea I've read is that if it's just if the order is carried out, it's necessarily a indirect command. If it's not necessarily carried out, it's just a purpose clause. Um, Cambridge is going to call these indirect commands, right? So I'll be a little more flexible if you think of it sometimes as a purpose clause, because that's the purpose of him ordering them, right? Yeah, I can see that, but let's try and call these indirect commands. Right, so he ordered the soldiers to catch Modestus and Strithio. The soldiers, however, although, right, two words we definitely want to know, right? However or nevertheless, although. Okay, although They correbant, they were looking, prepositional phrase, per tota castra, through the whole camp. Remember, it's plural in Latin, plural neuter there, but singular in English, camp. They non poterant, which of course is imperfect, right? The pluperfect would be potuerant, you recall. So they were not able to find them. They, mandebant, they were remaining, calati, hidden. Duos dias, we talked about the accusative of extended time. We'll see that in the grammar section later. So it's for how long they were calati. For 2 days. So they, for 2 days, were remaining calati. Calati nominative, right? Because it's modifying ili, them. Right? Perfect passive participle. Tertio die, there's our ablative of the time when going along with it. So on the third day, Modestus was Tom Measer. He was so sad. So I'm expecting a result clause, right? How sad was he? He was so sad that, as a result, non posset, he was not able to bear ferre, the thing diutius longer, right? A comparative from diu. Ferre, from ferro ferre tuli latus. Remember, it's irregular, and one of the ways in which irregular is that sometimes the vowel is missing in several other forms, and one of them is the infinitive. Doesn't end in valerie, just ends in re. And then posse here is the imperfect subjunctive because posse is a present infinitive, right? From possum, the infinitive is posse, so this is the imperfect subjunctive, and it follows the rule, right? It has the present subjunctive in it. Okay, so he was so sad he just couldn't take it anymore. Living under the barn. Quam in felixum, malam illo carcere esse potius quam sub horreo latere, qualis es haec vita, necessitas mihi grana quae mores reliquerent, consumere, sorry. Ad astritio, cum as exilii, sed me non adiuvat, nam stritio es vir maximi silentii minimi quaeoci, eheo me taede huius vitae. So, quam, paired up with a positive adjective, usually means how, right? So, how unhappy or unlucky I am, malim, right? This is a present subjunctive, a form you won't see until next year, but they've given you several of these present subjunctives of wolo, nolo, and malo. Right? We see velum, nolum, and malum. Right? So, it's a present subjunctive. You won't be asked about that form not until next year, anyhow. So, we're translated as I would prefer. I would rather, takes a complementary infinitive still, be in illo carcere, in that prison, potius quam, rather than sub hoc horreo latere, rather than to latere, to hide beneath this barn. Probably spiders under there, right? Doesn't sound nice. Qualis es haec vita, so what kind of life is this? A life under the barn. Like he's going to spend his whole life there. So, qualis es haec vita, what kind is this life? What kind of life is this? Okay, so it is the adjective. It is necessary for the dative for me to do the infinitive to consumere. So it is necessary for me to consume the grana, the grains, relative clause, which the mice left. He's living with mice. Right? Well, if he gets a deep cut, he can always dissect the mouse and put it into his cuts. We know that totally works. Ad Strutio, so Struthio is present. Come as exilii, the comrade, companion of my exile, right? A genitive. Said me non adiua, but he doesn't help me. For Strithio is a man maximi silenti, a man of the greatest silence. A genitive of characteristic or description, again, remember? A woman of good taste, a man of the greatest silence, and of the least joke, so of the least humor, maybe. I haven't found that to be true about Strithio so far. But then again, why would he be happy? He's hiding under a barn for 3 days. Oh dear. All right, tight up. This is a irregular, or not irregular, an impersonal verb in that it frequently has a subject of it. Okay. And the way this works is that it tires the accusative of the genitive. Right? Kind of a peculiar way of putting it together. We'll see this in the grammar section eventually. This is how it works. So tita, it tires the accusative. It tires me, that means I'm tired. Of what? Of the genitive, of this life. So it tires me of this life means I'm tired of this life. Okay, it's something to file away, which you'll see more examples of that. Mi modeste, difficile est nobis hic diutius manere, nunc tamen ad vesperascit, viste me ex horreo aggressum, quibum quaere, hominibus miserimis, quibus solacium semper affert. My modeste is vocative, of course, right? It is the adjective for the dative to do the infinitive, right? It is difficult for us to remain hic. Right? This isn't hic I coke hic. This is hic with a macron, and it means here. This means here. Hic, when it has a macron, means here. So to remain here, diutius longer. Again, that comparative from diu. Comparative adverb, right? Now, however, ad vesperascit is becoming evening, is becoming dark. Right? Vespers. So, prayers you or monks might say at evening are called vespers. Wisne, so do you want me? Right? Wismer from Wolo, Wies Walt. Ne just means it's a question. So the verb is wis. Do you want me to do a complementary infinitive? No doubt. To quirere, to look for. Kibum, food. Okay. Me, ex horreo aggressum, having gone out of, right? A perfect active participle from a Grady or again of the barn. So affert brings to, what's my subject? Food, right? So food brings comfort, always. This must be dative, right? To the saddest men. Right? So the nominative, that's the verb. Our food brings the accusative, comfort, adverb, always brings comfort to the dative, to very sad men or the saddest men. It is concilium optimum. It's the best plan. Novus canandum est. Stritio te huic re praeficio. E primum ad coquum eam ubes canam splendidam coquere et huc portare. Deinde quaere, or rather quaere, sorry, aulum et publicum amicos nostros, invita eos ad canam, ube aulum amperum vini fere, publicum lucernam aliasque, tum core ad vicum nigrinum quaere, optima est saltatricum, mihi saltatrices quoque solacium afferunt. Okay. So it is the best plan, right? The superlative from bonus, irregular, of course. Novus canandum, as we saw this, I believe, in the last chapter. Canandum, you'll recall, is a gerundive, that is a future passive participle. So canandum is to be eaten. And then when you combine that with the form of essay, it becomes a passive periphrastic, which Cambridge calls a gerundive of obligation, but I definitely want you to know the term passive periphrastic. Right, so know both, gerundive of obligation and passive periphrastic. All right, and that makes it necessity, right? So it must be eaten. Again, novus here is a dative of agent. So it must be eaten by us. We must eat, more simply, right? So the gerundive, form of essay, and then optionally a dative of agent. So it must be eaten by us. We must eat. Stritio, te huic re praeficio. So praeficio, I put pri in front of, in charge of. I put you in charge of huic re, this thing. Huic re must be what case? Dative, right? Re is a fifth declension. So you have options for re. Re could also be genitive, but huic is dative. It's not huius, it's huic. So huic re is dative. So I put you in charge of the dative. That's how this verb works, right? I put the accuser in charge of the dative. E, of course, is the imperative go. Remember, ire, to go, eo, ire. And its imperatives are E in the singular and ite in the plural, right? So just the letter I. Right? Remember when you have a stem that's just the letter I, it's this verb. So this verb loves the letter I. So E, go, first, ad coquum, to the cook. Ube, another imperative, this time from a second conjugation, ubio, order Okay, order the accusative to do the infinitive. Order him to cook a splendid dinner. And portare hook, and to carry it here. Why wouldn't the cook just report them? I don't know, just a story. Then, diende, quaere, remember that is a present imperative. The infinitive would be quaere. You have to add another re, which I mistakenly mispronounced it that way the first time. So quaere, the imperative, quaere, the infinitive. Right, so then look for Alice and Publicus. Remember, we always use the nominative form in English. Our friends. Apposition, right? You rename or describe someone. Uh, Same case, right? Amigos nostros, apposition. Invita, another imperative. Right? First conjugation, invitare. So invite them to dinner. Ube again, order. Alice, order him to do an infinitive. Fere, to bring or carry. An amphora weenie, an amphora of wine. Amphora is a big jar. Right? I think it translates it for you somewhere as big jar or wine jar. Just say amphora. That's what it is. That's what they're called. So weenie of wine. Right? Amphora of wine, the genitive here. Um, so order Alice to do that in publicum. So now we're rejoining back to the Ube. So order Alice to ferry that, and order Publicus to ferry, understood here, to bring a lantern and dice. So order Alice to bring an amphora of wine, Publicus a lantern and dice. Publicus to bring a lantern and dice. Right? Sometimes you just sound it out, just read it out loud. You can see where the author is going here when he's left something out like that. We do the same thing in English. We talked about it before. So tum core, then run ad vicum to the village. Look for Negrina. Okay, optima est saltatricum. Saltatricum. So third declension, so means it's genitive plural. So of the dancing girls, she is optima of the dancing girls. She is the best of the dancing girls. Right? Superlative, and we're describing Negrina, a female, so of course it's optima. Okay. Mihi saltatrices quoque solacium afferent. All right, so afferent, bring to, again, we saw that verb above. I need a plural subject, saltatrices. So dancing girls also bring comfort. We saw that. Mihi, to me. Right? So nominative verb, dancing girls bring. The accusative, comfort. Quoque is just also. And all we have left is mihi, to me. Right? Take it piece by piece, everything falls into place. Quidikis, what are you saying? We stay, remember, nay just makes it a question. The verb is wees. Wolo, wees, wolt. So wees is you want, or in this case, do you want? Do you want the accusative to do the infinitive? Do you want me to lead a dancing girl into the camp? Abi, again, I. Remember the imperative to go? So ab means go away, or abi would be go away. Go away, blockhead. Right? Caudex must be what case? Has to be vocative, right? It would look the same as a nominative because it's not a second declension singular, but it's direct address clearly, so it's technically vocative. So strithio, the mandata modesti efficaret, in which just discuss it. So the main clause, stritio, in which just discuss it. So strithio, unwillingly, right? When the adjective describes the subject, we can take like an adverb usually. So unwillingly, he discussed, he left, perfect tense, double S's. Why? In order to efficaret, carry out the orders of Modestus. Purpose clause, right? Why did he leave? To carry out the orders of Modestus. He persuaded, right? Perfect tense. The S is a stem clue. There'd be a D if it was present. He persuaded the cook. Persuadio takes the dative, so object of a special verb. To pararet, to prepare. A splendid dinner. What use of the subjunctive would that be? Indirect command, right? Right. Indirect command introduced by a verb trying to get you to do something, and then that the indirect command subordinate clause is what they're trying to get you to do. So persuade him to do something, right? So persuaded him to prepare a splendid dinner. He persuaded, again, datives, he persuaded Aulus and Publicus, right, to indirect command again, to bring Ferent, right? The present infinitive of Pharaoh is Pharaoh, so that's what we have inside the imperfect subjunctive, to bring wine and a lantern and dice. Et and que, both ands. Et is a stronger and. So que is almost like an apostrophe, a softer and. And that makes sense here, right? You have the stronger and here because one guy, who was Aulus, I guess, was supposed to bring the wine. And then the second guy, Publicus, brings these two things. Right? So these two things are associated with one guy and the wine with another guy. So we have a stronger and between them. But then these two things both being brought by one guy, we have a softer and, que. Right? So et is a strong and. Right? Other forms of and not so strong. So que is a very soft and. He begged Negrina, right? Begged can introduce an indirect command. Any verb that's trying to get you to do something. So order, persuade, now beg. We've seen begged Negrina, okay, indirect command, to Winiret to come to the barn. Yeah, she's not that stupid. Yeah, we're the visiting soldiers. We'd like you to come to our party. Where's it at? Oh, it's under a barn. Yeah, she should definitely skip that party. But non poterat, he was not able to persuade. Remember, it takes a dative. A would be her here, right? Remember, is, ai, id, the singular datives are all ei, ae. But here we're talking about Negrina, so we'd say her. Okay, so big party under the barn. Don't go, right? So until next time.